So, once you've created your character, there is a slight tutorial that you will go through. It's part of the gameplay, and I'm going to show you a couple of tricks on that. This is where you want to set everything up.
You find yourself waking on a shore of flotsam. Memories of a large white dragon striking your ship come flooding back.
Ah, you're awake. Oi, you ain't undead, are you? Can you talk? Speak to me.
You come up, you'll get a speak icon or emoji. You will left click, and that's how you access this. Interaction and everything is typically done with the left click. You'll notice over here you've got tips that will help you get started.
If what the halfling said was true, no one but you made it to the island alive.
Follow me.
It may be worth following this rogue. For now.
Here we are. So you want a weapon or not?
Now here he's going to offer you a lot of weapons. Again, you need to, depending upon your character class. So, we would probably go either with a quarterstaff or a rapier for a rogue, because those are light weapons. If you equip something,
As you take hold of the weapon,
if the little asterisk appears up here,
notice this Jeets has more he wants to say.
if you get a little red asterisk up here, that means that that weapon, you're at a negative to use it because you do not have a proficiency with it. All right? So you can cycle through and go back through and try the different weapons to see what you've got. See here? You're not proficient with your equipment. I will be at a negative to hit, a negative for attack rounds and everything else if I keep that weapon. See? So be sure to check that when you're getting your weapons so that you know what you're doing. You do not want to initial stuff. You want to make sure if you don't want to sell something accidentally, you click on it and you can lock it. And that's initially your character startup and preparation. Now we're going to look at your UI settings and a couple of things you can do to give yourself a better start. First of all, your T key allows you free mouse movement. In free mouse movement, I can hold my right mouse button and still control my camera. Or if I hit the T key, I can go automatic without having to press any buttons. I normally use this because of my hand issues. Now, having said that, again, depending upon your monitor, your screen size and so on, things are going to be a bit different. And there's some things that you can do to once again help a little bit with your latency once you have a character created. So to do that, the first thing I do is I want to clear off as much space as I can. This is my tumble. So I've got a rogue, so I want that exposed. I'm left-handed, so a lot of my stuff I keep to the left. You'll notice if I target something, I can examine or use it. Or, whoops, or I can just whack on it like I did right there. This is just my preference setup. They do use this fog of war. What if I come back in, this area will have a slight gray out, but it will not be black. So I can see where I've been prior, that if I need to retrace those steps, I can still see it, but it won't be blacked out again normally. Sometimes it glitches and does that. So here, like I don't need this. If I'm targeting something, I know what I'm targeting. I don't need to see it. So I can click this, and that takes that little picture away. The next thing we want to look at is we're going to go to our options, escape key options, our graphics, our basic graphics, okay? Once again, this is like any other. When you put it over, it'll show you your performance ratio. However, this is based for frames per second, because like here, let me go down to UI settings and bring that up. There we go. All right. So currently, I've got 97 frame. My latency is 98. If I was to go where this says it will improve, if I go in there and I disable that, okay, you notice my latency and so on has not changed. That is relevant to your frames per second. For people with, if you're running like a 8, 9, or let's see, a 10, 11, 12 type gen system, what you would want to do, a couple of things to help you with your frames per second, is of course disable your anti-aliasing. That's about all you can do in here. Okay. Windowed mode, I like windowed mode because it's a windowed full screen, but it doesn't cover up my hotbar at the bottom, so I can access stuff if I have problems. Resolution, again, you want your resolution to match your computer. Aspect ratio, set it on auto. Advanced graphics. We all want the best graphics possible. However, there's a couple of things you can live without. Okay? Interactive water. I would put that on low for most people to start with. Texture filtering. If you go anastrophic or just bilinear, bilinear would be the start, and then I would work up from that. Okay. Let's see. Surface reflections. Reduce your surface reflections as much as possible, and this will help with your frames per second. The same as landscape quality. Start with the low. Always start with the base bottom and work yourself up. Landscape shadows. Okay, normally I will disable my landscape shadows. I will disable my stencil shadows and my dynamic shadows. Shadows cost a lot, and all you're doing is just seeing your character, and sometimes those shadows will cover up things in the game. Like if I'm looking for a lever or something on the ground, the shadows can actually cover it up and make it more frustrating to find the thing to use it. Okay. And just go through here, start everything as basic, like blur filter, run everything down to the bottom basic. Your refresh rate, don't play with the refresh rate, let it auto do itself. Have it sync with refresh rate. Buffering, this will increase your rendering performance, but you got to have your RAM. And or some of the newer CPUs and stuff, you can go into your BIOS and have it use your video RAM or your what we used to call virtual RAM to help deal with that if you have a low-end graphics card. And I'm not saying low-end as a bad thing. I'm just saying something with low low RAM on the graphics card itself. Now, once we're done with that, we're going to go to audio. Again, you want to test this stuff. I always turn the music off. It's just, okay. I run voice attack. And the problem with voice attack is if I'm trying to do something and there's a lot of combat noise going on, the narrator speaking or whatever, it may not recognize the command I'm trying to give it. And I need this to be able to play because of my hand issues. I can't be doing this Control Shift Alt and so on a keyboard. My hands don't work that way anymore. This allows me to do a lot of stuff very quickly. And if you're doing any kind of gaming, voice attack, I highly suggest it. So I have everything down to medium or lower, and then I test it with my voice attack to make sure it's not overriding my my voice commands. Gameplay, of course, is all of your basic like auto gather trap parts. I'm a rogue. I want to auto gather all my stuff to build traps and so on. But again, the more stuff you have going on, the more it's going to pull on the game. UI settings. Let's go to mouse first. It's quicker. In the game, your turn and so on is going to be dependent upon your mouse smoothing and sensitivity. Okay? The lower the sensitivity, you see, the less that I'm getting. And you're going to have to go in here and find that sense that works best for you. And later if you get the all the Keep on the Borderlands stuff, if you get your free mount through Keep on the Borderlands, which you collect some feathers to do that, riding, you may have to readjust your mouse a little bit more between your walking and your riding. So just something to be aware of. Your primary thing will be your UI settings. UI settings is the make or break in this game, okay? A couple of things that, and I mean, this is all for team units and everything, but we're going to right here at tooltip delay. And what we want is a couple of things in here. Show portrait on vital bars. You see my portrait down here. If I uncheck that, I now have a cleaner screen. And one of the guys plays on a laptop, very small screen. And if he doesn't remove this stuff, it clutters the screen up that suddenly he has this little square in the middle, and that's all that he can see that's going on because of his hotbars and stuff. So you want that one. Let's see. Tooltips. Once you get playing, you can disable the tooltip. Okay. And that will free all that stuff from popping up on you. Now here comes an interesting thing. You have auto-targeting and manual. It will auto-target, but not always the closest. And basically, it does not always auto-target the most dangerous target when in combat. It will just auto-target whatever happens to be there. You can target something by right-clicking on it, but if you're in the mass melee, trying to click on something to target it can be a problem, especially for ranged archers and things like this. So I leave it checked. However, the one thing I do here is I uncheck auto-target breakables. Now, an auto-target breakable. This is a breakable. Okay? And you're basically looting stuff. Alright? Anytime you whack on something with a weapon, you are doing damage to that weapon. So I suggest as soon as you get a chance, either that or simply go. You can fisticuff the thing, and I'm not going to get into the. I'm not going to get into all of that mechanics, but you can basically break stuff this way, and it will save you from having to continuously repair your weapons. Okay? Alright, that's the basics on that. The other thing that in here that I will turn off for me is accept challenge request. I don't do PvP. There's no way I can actually contend with anybody that has full hand mobility and so on. Even using voice attack, it makes it easier, but there is still a significant delay between the voice recognition, the voice activating the particular key, and so on. And so anybody who can button mash with full hand dexterity and so on, they're going to outbeat you any day of the week, because they can execute everything much faster, move around, dodge, and do the other things that if you're having to use a voice activation system or voice recognition system, there's going to be a slighter delay to that. Be aware of that. All right. Then, of course, key mapping. This is shows all your hotkeys, and you can remap those. And that is the basics on that. At this point, what's going to happen is you're going to take a quest. He's going to send you up to talk to that guy. He's going to take you up, and you're going to do your initial training quest that will bring you to Korthos Island. And that's it on that. So let's move on to the next part.